Welcome to another episode of the Freedom Filled Life. We're doing another historical markers, and today we're looking at the rest of the Cherokee County, standing here on the border of Alabama and Georgia. Just right across the road from me is the Chatooga County sign and the Welcome to Georgia sign. But we're today looking at Cherokee, Alabama. Here in Cherokee County, it looks like some people have taken some shots at this one, but this is the COE Incline. In 1902, a coal mine was opened at Lake Lahosage in neighboring DeKalb County. The mine coal was carried by a dinky line to the brow of Lookout Mountain at 5 Points in Cherokee County. The Tag Railroad built a spur line about 2.5 miles in length just south of Menlo, Georgia, through the COE community. An incline to the top of the mountain, elevation about 1,500 feet, was built to receive the coal from Lake Lahosage. The mine operated until 1916, when it became unprofitable. The name Lahosage was derived from Lah in lamb, Hugh in Hubbard, in Sage, the three men who opened the mine. This marker in Cherokee County is for the Berry Springs Indian Stockade. 100 feet east was one site where the Trail of Tears began. On May 23, 1838, the Indians of this general area who had been held in a chestnut log stockade after being gathered by the U.S. Army began their long trek to Oklahoma. The spring, which was the source of water for the Indians, is believed to be the mouth of an underground cavern. Eli O. Alexander and his wife Margaret Berry Allison and Richard Berry settled in this area about 1838. The Richard Berry log house, about 100 yards west of the spring, was recently, around 1970, destroyed by fire. Here in Cherokee County, Alabama, we're learning about Colonel Charles Rattray. Colonel Charles Rattray served in the 57th I-11 Infantry. He served in Sherman's command at Gaylesville in October of 1864. He fell in love with Theodora McWhirter and promised to return and marry her when the war ended. He was a man of his word. His accomplishments were numerous. He managed Cornwall Furnace and Commissary, built Cedar Bluff High School, constructed a covered bridge over the Chatooga River, constructed a bridge over Yellow Creek, completed a bridge across Little River, served as notary and justice of the peace at Cedar Bluff, elected as an Alabama state representative, and passed a bill to establish a high school in every county in Alabama, and passed a bill to erect a monument honoring Confederate soldiers. Here in Cherokee County, Alabama, we have one for Arthur Tarzan White. Born in Lockhart, Alabama in 1950, Tarzan played alongside Bear Bryant on the University of Alabama's 1934 national championship team and was honored as an All-American in 1936. He went on to play for the New York Giants, winning an NFL championship in 1938. Tarzan was also a professional wrestler during the football offseason, winning multiple heavyweight championship titles. He moved to Cherokee County and coached football at Gaylesville during 1954. He was the mail carrier for the Jamestown-Gaylesville area and continued wrestling into his 60s. Tarzan resided in Jamestown until his death in 1996. We're in Cherokee County, Alabama. This is for the W.P. Brown & Sons Lumber Company. In February 1937, W.P. Brown & Sons Lumber Company signed a contract with Alabama Power for an estimated 20 million feet of saw lumber. The south end of Brown's property is located 1,000 feet back from this marker and extended northward 3/4 of a mile. Brown Lumber Company employed 1,706 people in its 12 years of operation at Blanche. The Tag Railroad, which ran alongside the sawmill, played a very important role in transporting the lumber to market. Here in Cherokee County, Alabama, this marker is for David Hartline. David was born 4 of 12 children, served in combat in Vietnam, was wounded, and is a highly decorated war veteran. David is a best-selling author, a veteran advocate, and state commander of the American Legion. He is a former college instructor and police chief. David married in 1970 and is the father of 4 children. He is the 4th generation of Hartlines living on this property. Here's the history of Taff, Alabama. Cherokee County was established in 1836. Area Cherokee Indians relocated in 1838. Taff Community established in 1842. The community named in honor of the Taff family in 1842. Union and Confederate soldiers occupied the area in 1864. The Taff Post Office was established in 1886. The THE Railroad was established in 1891. The Taff Community School was established in 1894. The Taff Community Doctor came in 1911. And the THE Railroad Scooter Service was established in 1922. Johnny's Creek Mill Hole. The McClung brothers, J.B. and Thomas, homesteaded land on Johnny's Creek in the 1800s. The two brothers harnessed power from water that flowed over the falls to operate a sawmill and grist mill. The McClung's two mills and blacksmith shop played an important role for families in the Black Oak and Tucker's Chapel during the Depression. Because of the scarcity of money, the people in the community returned to the barter system. Goods and services were traded for goods and services. Some of the rock foundation of the mills are still visible from the top of the Mole Hole. This marker is the General John B. Hood headquarters. General Hood, commanding the Department of Tennessee and Georgia for the Confederate Army, made his headquarters in this house on October 19, 1864. On his retreat from Atlanta to Tennessee via Gadsden, his army numbered approximately 40,000 troops. And here's the house. I'm assuming there's been a few changes since 1864. Round Mountain Iron Furnace, put into blast by noted Southern iron master Moses Stroup in 1852. The Round Mountain Furnace was the fourth oldest blast furnace in Alabama. It was the first furnace to make use of red fossiliferous iron ore. Driven by steam power, it was an important source of Confederate iron during the Civil War for the Noble Brothers Foundry in Rome, Georgia, and the CS Naval Gun Foundry in Selma, Alabama. During the war, it was leased by the firm of Dog Drill and Krager. Twice attacked by federal troops led by Colonel Abel D. Strait in 1863 and Major General Francis B. Blair in 1864, it was rebuilt and enlarged in 1874 and 1888. The plant was closed permanently in December 1906. I'm assuming it was somewhere in this location, but I am seeing no remnants of it. Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia Railway. Completed in 1891 as the Chattanooga Southern Railway, the line ran 91.7 miles from Chattanooga to Gadsden. It was reorganized as the TA&G in 1911. From 1922 until 1951, the scooter motorcar handled passenger service on the line. The railroad was purchased by Southern Railway in 1971 and later abandoned. The pillars still remain from the trestle over Yellow Creek, which was the site of a terrible train wreck in 1924. Sand Rock. The town was named for the characteristics of local rocks. A post office was established in 1855 and closed in 1903. The Sand Rock High School Wildcats won the Class 1A football championship in 1985 and the Class 2A state softball championship in 1998. Sand Rock was incorporated in 1988, making it the most recent town to incorporate in the county. Here's a marker for Yankees in Leesburg, the Forest Strait Raid. On the night of May 2, 1863, 700 of Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest cavalry galloped past this site in pursuit of nearly 2,000 mounted Union infantry commanded by Colonel Abel Strait of Indiana. Using the nearby Gadsden-Turkeytown-Leesburg Road, Forrest and his energized troops had chased Strait's sleep-deprived and tired Yankees out of Gadsden earlier that day. That evening, they fought the Battle of Blount's Plantation, and then Strait's Yankees passed through Leesburg that night. Force had been chasing straight east across Alabama since April 28th near Moulton. The opposing forces had clashed at Days Gap in present-day Cullum County on the 30th and at Black Creek north of Gadsden on the morning of May 2nd. Included in that day's efforts was the brave action of 15-year-old Emma Sansom, in which she helped guide Forrest's men across Black Creek. By the time the Yankees passed this site on the night of the 2nd, they were exhausted, and the prospect of their intended goal, the sacking of Rome, Georgia, appeared to be out of their reach. Colonel Strait reported on the condition of his men that day. Many of our animals and men were entirely worn out and unable to keep up with the column. Early on the 3rd, Strait crossed the Chatooga River into Cedar Bluff on Dykes Bridge. He would surrender his entire command late in the morning of May 3rd, just east of Cedar Bluff. This marker is for the Kings Hill Skirmish on October 23, 1864. U.S. troops under Brigadier General W.L. Elliott, Chief of the U.S. Cavalry Department of the Cumberland, advanced upon Major General Joseph Wheeler's Confederate forces positioned on Kings Hill. The CS troops fell back to another line of works 2 miles beyond. Chatooga River. The river originates in Lafayette in Walker County, Georgia, flows through Chatooga County, Georgia, and then enters Cherokee County before emptying into Weiss Lake. Prior to the construction of the lake, the Chatooga River converged with the Coosa River near Cedar Bluff. During the Civil War, U.S. General William Tecumseh Sherman ordered the grist mill here at Gaylesville and the bridge across the river to be burned. Further downstream, the river powered the blast for the Cornwall furnace during the Civil War. The mill at Gaylesville was rebuilt after the war. Even though the mill building is no longer standing, the rock pillars can still be seen on the west bank below the bend in the river, and the dam is still noticeable a few inches under the water's surface during low water levels. There's a couple of markers here that are kind of in the trees, makes them hard to see. The first one here is Occupation of Gaylesville. Major General W.T. Sherman, commanding the Union Military Division of the Mississippi at the Summerville, Georgia, on October 19, 1864, moved the Army of the Tennessee and Army of the Ohio and the Army of the Cumberland to Gaylesville. The armies with attachments numbered approximately 60,000 troops. We're by the Gaylesville Town Hall at the Welcome to Gaylesville sign, the oldest town in Cherokee County. And this talks about Gaylesville. The post office was established in 1836. During the Civil War, the main body of U.S. General William Tecumseh Sherman's army camped around the town. In October 1864, a private home served as his headquarters. Despite pleas from citizens, his troops burned the mill and bridge across the Chatooga River as they left for their infamous march to the sea. Gaylesville Academy, later Gaylesville School, the first high school in the county, was organized in 1871. Gaylesville was the first town incorporated in Cherokee County in 1886. From 1895 to 1909, a spur of the Southern Railway ran through the town to ore mines to the north. And then down below it says the occupation of Gaylesville, which I think was in another one. Major General W.T. Sherman, commanding the Union Military Division of the Mississippi at Summerville, Georgia, on October 19, 1864, moved the Army of the Tennessee, the Army of the Ohio, and the Army of the Cumberland to Gaylesville. The armies with attachments numbered approximately 60,000 troops. Chatooga, former capital of the Cherokee Nation. In 1820, the Cherokee Nation divided its territory into 8 districts with the land in Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. The village of Chatooga was chosen as base for the Alabama district, and a small log cabin near here served as its courthouse. Chatooga became the capital of the Cherokee Nation in 1831, when it was forbidden by the state of Georgia to hold meetings at its base in New Ashoda. The courthouse then doubled as the Cherokee capital. Chief John Ross addressed a meeting here of the Cherokee General Council on October 24, 1831. Because of its inconvenient location, the Cherokee capital was moved to Red Clay, Tennessee in the summer of 1832. Well, that was some of the history of Cherokee County in Alabama. I hope you enjoyed the history, and stay tuned for more episodes.